At the height of the COVID-19 lockdown, small businesses struggled to stay operational. The battle was no different for the bakers of Khayelitsha Cookies. Production whittled down to only 2 days, and 65% of corporate orders dried up during the pandemic. Just as the women-owned businesses gets back on its feet, power cuts threaten to spoil their bakes. Our reporter Natalie Malgas is on the factory floor. Natalie, how big an impact do blackouts have there? We certainly know the impact that they have on interviews, because we lost you a little while ago.
It's disruptive and it's getting quite aggressive, Hugo, because it happens multiple times a day. As you mentioned, I am on the factory floor, and unfortunately we're standing in pitch darkness. Just a few moments ago, everything was running. We had the ovens going, we had all the machines going, and several workers on the floor, each with their dedicated tasks. But things have had to grind to a halt here because there is no power. I'm standing with Eunice, who is one of the executives here at Khayelitsha Cookies. Eunice, you've got big orders going out as early as Monday morning. What impact does blackouts have for your operations?
It does impact us a lot because we're not going to be able to send all the orders on Monday that are supposed to be going out. That's the reason why we have to work on a Saturday as well, just to catch up on the orders that we have to send out on Monday.
When you started the business, the idea was to empower women of local informal settlements, such as Khayelitsha and some of those surrounding areas. So at the very beginning, you were an all-women team of bakers. Talk us through the empowerment story of Khayelitsha Cookies and why it's so close to your heart.
Yeah, before it used to be like that, to empower only the women, but as the company grows, and we realize that we do need men because there's heavy stuff that need to be lifted up, which women cannot. So that is why we have to not to choose only women, so that we have men as well.
When we were chatting a little before we went live, you mentioned one of those needs that you needed strong arms for was the fact that not only more biscuits need to be produced for your big retail orders, but some of the machinery here requires some heavy duty. Talk us through what happened post-COVID. Was there a flurry of interest, and that's how you got these big gigs?
During the COVID time, yeah, we were also affected about it, but we did have hospital running because all the hotels that used to support us, so they were closed down and they didn't get any guests that time. So we had few more shops that we have supply, and then mostly it was the hospitals. But it did really get to us that time.
And just as you try and rebuild, I remember when we were last here during the pandemic and during the lockdowns, you were saying from working 5 days a week, it was down to 2 days. And as much as 65% of those corporate orders, the hotels that you just mentioned, had all dried up because it was lockdown. Now that things seem to be getting back to a normal and a normalcy, slowly but surely, there's power cuts that happen quite often. Does that mean things grind to a halt here and no work is done, or do you have to work around load shedding and work later, longer hours?
Yeah, we do have to work later, longer hours because of the orders that we're getting from the customers that we need to send out as well. So we need to make plans. That is why we're working Saturdays. Sometimes we have to work late so that we can get to finish the orders.
How many people are you employing in this factory, and is this your only one, or are there others?
This is the only factory we have now. Now we're plus minus, close now to plus minus 90, I think, yeah, because we've got guys as well. And we're still hiring more people as the time goes on because of the work that we have to do. As it gets more, then we need to hire more people as well.
Because that was going to be my next question. During the hard lockdowns of COVID, you had to start weighing up the possibility of letting some people go or working rotational shifts to make sure that all the staffers get time on the factory lot. Now that there are power cuts, are you in the same position, or have you been able to be creative in keeping everyone employed and working?
Unfortunately, or fortunately for us, even during the lockdown, we didn't cut down. The only thing that we cut down, it was the days that they must come in a time, but we were keeping them coming all the time. And now that we've got these girls, so we try to work, sometimes, like I said, we work overtimes. And like now we work today and Saturday as well, so that we can get to finish all the orders to fulfill the needs of the clients.
Eunice, as an executive and one of the bosses at this particular factory, you know you employ breadwinners and people who go back home and support their families and support their respective communities. What message would you like to give the executives of Eskom or President Cyril Ramaphosa about the load shedding issue and how it affects your business?
Well, what I can say, it affects the business a lot. Because most of the time you come in the morning, starting at 8 o'clock, then it goes off, then we can't do anything. So maybe we'll come back at 10 or 12 o'clock, so all those hours we've done nothing. So it affects us a lot.
Thank you very much, Eunice. Hugo, as you heard from Eunice, there are several unproductive hours here on this particular factory floor. I'm going to step out of shot real quick and we can close off with you seeing just how quiet it is here. And this is at the height of the usual productivity. So as we heard from the people of Khayelitsha Cookies to the president and to the Eskom executives, it's affecting everyone and their bottom line.
And as they say, Natalie, that is how the cookie crumbles. Appreciate your time this afternoon, Natalie Malgas, coming to us from Khayelitsha Cookies in Cape Town.